Survived the worst, but my life is glorious. Better know that I leaped every hurdle and I'm so victorious. Take a look, I'm a symbol of greatness now, you can call me Morpheus. As for securing the win, but to believe I'm so notorious. You know that I've been about my bread, even though we rapping now. We used to live on the strip, even though you see me higher level trapping now. I superseded every one of my little struggles and failure has never ever been an option. You see my paper long like rush hour traffic and I'm about to take a hood shopping. Get it!
Together we made it.
You see, we did it.
We made it even though we had our backs up against the wall.
Come on.
Forever we waited, and they told us we were never gonna get it, but we took it on the road, on the road, on the road. On the road.
Ride with me, yeah. We come to get it.
Yeah. When it all got started, we were steadily just getting rejected, and it seemed like nothing we could do would ever get us respected. At best we were stressed, at the worst they probably said we're pathetic. Had all the pieces to that puzzle, just no way to connect it. I was fighting through every rhyme, tightening up every line, never resting the question if I was out of my mind. It finally came time to do it or let it die, so we put the chips on the table and told them to let it ride, singing yeah.
Together we made it.
You see, we did it.
We made it even though we had our backs up against the wall.
Come on.
Forever we waited, and they told us we were never gonna get it, but we took it on the road, on the road, on the road. On the road.
Ride with me.
On the road.
We come to get it.
On the road.
Yeah. Look, in case you misunderstand exactly what I'm building, is things that I can leave for my children. Now on my wake up I smile to see how far I've come. Fighting for sales on the strip to a gate to hustle from nights in jail on a bench, using my muscle, son, to counting money like Dre and Jimmy and Russell once. But now I live when I dream. You see, we finally did it. Let's make a toast to the hustle, regardless how you get it. Sing it.
Together we made
You
it.
see, we did it.
We made it even though we had our backs up against the wall.
Come on.
Forever we waited, and they told us we were never gonna get it, but we took it on the road, on the road, on the road, on the road.
Ride with me. We come to get it.
On the road.
Yeah.
Now, Albert Einstein had a quote. He said, imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attractions. This is important information. The biggest thing that always troubled me was my imagination, because it was so big when I was a kid. You know, I grew up poor, but I was always imagining stuff. You know, my mama, once a month, would buy a travel magazine at the grocery store. My father used to be so pissed off. Bill, why we spending this money? Cause we were poor. She said, Slick, we ain't got no money to take this boy nowhere. But if he can look in these magazines, maybe one day, it'll cause him to want to travel. I've been to so many countries around the world because of that magazine. I just wanted to go see stuff. My mama had enough sense to plant that seed in me. It's like at Christmas time, we used to get in the car, and my daddy used to take us to the suburbs so we could see the lights. And you know, we just drove around the lights. I was amazed at the suburbs because I would see these big houses with horseshoe driveways where you drove in and came out the other side. So I told my daddy one time he driving, I said, Daddy, why don't we get one of them houses? He said, boy, I ain't got no money for that, but that's what I'm bringing you out here for. He said, one day you'll be able to get one of them houses. Let me explain something to you. Because of that right there, I've probably had in my lifetime now about 11 homes. I got 4 now in different states. Every house I own got a horseshoe drive. When they was living, they told me one time, they was sitting up watching TV, my daddy looked at my mama and said, Bill, he called my mama Bill and said, can you believe that this little boy we had on TV? She said, Slick, I can't believe this. I used to send my daddy $5,000 a week. You know, when I first got on TV, I was making $55,000 a week, so I sent my mama $5,000 a week. When I got into Kings of Comedy, my father was still there. I showed my daddy one time how much money I made. He said, boy, it take me 4 years to make this kind of money. So I was able to give them something with my life. So before my mom and them left this world, I could give them something. I bought them everything, man, houses, cars, furniture. I bought them everything I could think of. Try. And you know what's crazy, man? I'm 62 years old. I still want them to be proud of me. I'm still hoping that they in heaven watching me. And they see me turn into something. That's all I ever wanted. It was in my imagination to take care of them. You just got to believe that. You just got to believe, man. Don't ever give up. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. All faith is, really, the substance of it is just what you hope for. That's all faith is. It's just real hard hoping. You remember when you was little and you said, I hope I get a bike for Christmas? And you went out there one year and the bike was under the tree? You remember when you said you hope you graduate and you mess around and got a diploma? Then you remember when you said you hope you get a job and you mess around and you got a job? Huh? At one point in time, the older you get, this got to start clicking in. That faith is really the substance of things hoped for. That if you hope hard enough, one day you ought to get smart and turn all that hoping into belief. And what is belief? Nothing but faith. And what is faith? Faith is belief in things that you cannot see. See, this what the part you got to get. The evidence of things not seen. Remember I told you that imagination is everything? It's the preview to life's coming attraction. Now let me tell you the problem with your imagination. The problem with your imagination is you tell it to the wrong people. If you want to kill a big dream, tell it to a small-minded person. You went and you shared it with your family and friends. You know what they did? They shot it down. You know why they shot it down? Because they couldn't see it. See, your mom and them, your cousin them, your friends, they don't know. See, you gotta be careful when you share your imagination with small-minded people. Nobody else can see your imagination but you.
Bob Proctor is one of the guys, anybody you're familiar with the book, The Secret, he's one of the master teachers, and I had an opportunity for him to be my mentor, and it was funny, I'll never forget, we were talking, and he said to me, son, how much do you charge? It's about a year ago. Let's put $10,000. I was excited. I come from poverty, Glenn. I come from a working class. I made, 10,000. I can do 20 gigs a month. 10,000. My mother never made 10,000 at one time. I'm excited. He said $10,000. I said, yeah. He said, what else do you do? I said, well, I've got the book, The Secret to Success. So you sell a book? Oh. I was asking to be mentored, not insulted. He said, oh, your little book, you still selling books? I said, still? I'm sorry, I'm from Detroit, high school dropout. Nobody on my block is an author. Nobody in my family is an author. When you say still, help me out, what do you mean by still? We made over $1 million the first year. What do you mean still? He says, Eric, nobody really makes good money off of books but Chicken Soup for the Soul. He said, you give this away and you turn it into an ascension program. I said, a who? He said, an ascension program, kid. He said, listen, the little TGIM thing you're doing, that's for people who really want a lot. There's a group out there, they want to learn how you did it from top to bottom. So you need a program, university online. He said, $10,000, you're one of the best in the world, $10,000. He said, do me a favor, let's start at least at 20. I saw him 6 months later. He said, Eric, how's the 20 thing coming? I said, it's going great, sir. He said, what do you mean it's going great? I told him 20 and everybody's doing it. He said, then that's a problem. Lions are wired differently. I said, what do you mean it's a problem? You told me to say 20, I said 20, now they give me 20. Like, is this a trick? He said, no, if they're saying yes, it's a problem. Say a number that they're gonna say no to and then you can negotiate. So tell them 100 and see where it falls. I said, I bet you it won't be anywhere close to 20. Sure, what am I telling you? He said, your problem is you think like a kid who grew up in Detroit. You think like a kid who came from poverty. You think like a kid whose mama had him at 17 years old. That's how you think. You're not wired to be who you've been called to be. What you need to think is not how you see the world, but what you need to see is how the world sees you. And the world doesn't see you as a 10,000 kid. The world sees you as much bigger. And when you can see yourself as the world sees you and not how you see yourself, that's when you're gonna go to another level. Let me tell you something. You got it. So when you walk out of here, the way you see yourself is the problem. It's always a result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning, and focused effort. You're not going to be the best. You're not going to catch the best if you're not intentional and deliberate. And there are those of you in your space, and whatever you're trying to do, you don't even represent the best in your space, and you're still not giving 120. You're trying to catch the guy, you're trying to catch the female, that's the best. And you're waking up and giving me 70%, you're giving me 80%, but yet you have these dreams that you're gonna be the best. How? You're still watching TV. Somebody said, Eric, have you not seen, in America, everybody, have you not seen Scandal? You must watch Scandal. It's the best sitcom ever. Have you not seen Scandal? I said, it's a scandal. I'm not watching it. It's a scandal. I'm not watching it. Come on at 10 o'clock at night. I'm in the bed. I got to wake up and make my scandal become a reality. This is Scandal. I can't watch this. So I'll go home and say, Scandal was great. But I did Scandal on my time on my way to Australia. I didn't do Scandal when I'm trying to catch Jim Rohn. I didn't do Scandal where I'm trying to learn from John Maxwell or from my friend Les Brown. I'm not watching Scandal. So you got to do me a huge favor, and I'm asking you to do me a favor. When you leave today, I want you to look at some things that you're doing, the 30% now, or the 20%, or the 10%, and I'm gonna need you to let it go.
Just, bro, I've seen a lot, and I just was like, yo, I don't want that no more. And so what are the things that stop men from being successful? And I saw it. Females was one. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, it just seemed like, and still, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world. I'm just like, yo, it just seemed like, bro, and my father had multiple kids by multiple women. You know, I got a sister I found out, you know, when I was older that I had that's only a few months younger than me. You know what I'm saying? She might be 9 months. Like, I was just like, yo, bro, I'm not disrespecting my family. Everybody got to go through their whatever. But I was like, yo, I don't want that life no more. Like, I don't want to lose. So I started looking at power, egos. A lot of dudes fail because of their ego. You know, they can't be the two-man. They can't serve nobody else, you know, and then money. You know what I'm saying? I just saw just people would just get money. Like, I grew up in Motown. So these young dudes would come great musicians and end up smoking crack or cocaine and just losing their mind. You look at Marvin Gaye, you know, Al Green, you know, the life that he had, Sam Cooke, like some of the most talented people, Michael Jackson even, Whitney Houston. And I just started realizing like, yo, if you don't deal with your demons, they ain't going nowhere. They not gonna stay in the closet. Right. And so I was like, yo, E, you gotta discipline yourself. I started looking at Mother Teresa, Gandhi, and I was like, yo, bro, Gandhi would go fast from sex, and he was married. He would fast from talking. You know, I just started watching these great people and was like, yo, these people fast, and not about fasting, like that's not the piece, but they were very disciplined people, and they would not allow their exterior world to dominate or destroy their internal world. I just like, yo, I want to get to a place where I can control me. My family members have grown. I lost an uncle who cirrhosis of the liver, brilliant man, but just drinking. And I was like, yo, I do not want to. My father was a substance abuser for years. I was like, yo, I don't want a life where something else is controlling me. You know, like for real, when I left home and said, I don't want to be controlled no more, like I meant that. Like I don't want nothing to control me but me. And so I got to put myself under extreme discipline to make sure I'm free. So when people see me, you get up at 3, you don't drink, you don't smoke. I'm not doing that because I think I'm better than nobody else, or I think you're going to go to hell because you had a drink. I want to control, I want freedom. And for me, disciplining myself means more freedom. And the less you discipline yourself, people who, I told my son the other day, I was like, yo son, I don't not want you to have fun. I just seen a history of people who just have fun. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, New Year. They're the people who
Thursday night, Friday night.
Oh man, every night. Yeah. They're the people who end up in their 20s having a great deal of fun, but in their 40s and 50s, they working for somebody, and I'm not saying nothing wrong with cleaning toilets, but they doing something they don't want to do for the rest of their life, and they can't retire because they played so much. You know, so for me, I just look at Venus and Serena, Michael Jackson, when he used to like 5 and 6 just dancing all night. I just think the more a man disciplines himself, the greater, it don't mean it's gonna happen, but the greater the probability that he has this sense of freedom. And I will say this, the one thing I enjoy is that now where I am, this don't mean that when you're 20, you're 30, you're 40. I never knew I would be who I am. But I'm grateful that I disciplined myself the way I did, because some of the issues I could have as one of the top motivational speakers in the world, I don't have those issues. And let me tell you something, I'm around more temptation now than I have ever been in my life. And we're not just talking about women, we're talking about opportunities, we're talking about power, we're talking about, bro, I got a call, and I won't say names because I know you know how you are, but I got a call this week from 2 or 3 people that are top in their industries. And it's just like, yo, the people I coach and the people so I'm grateful that I'm disciplined, because I can see if I wasn't disciplined with the exposure that I have around the world, whew.
Twin them up.
Bello on the